Hey, so it's been like 2 weeks since I last filmed in this space. I know it took me a little while to get those last vlogs out, but yeah, about 2 weeks. And so, I guess I'm a bit frustrated with myself because I have the opportunity to use this space and it's a great idea in theory, but in practice, what I really need is my own space. I've had a lot going on, but also some days I've just been so low energy that even walking this isn't far away from my house, even walking a little distance just to get here was too much for me. And, some days I'm just not good for filming anyway, but having that extra walk to do, and the weather as well, I just stayed home rather than making vlogs. So that's a little bit frustrating. Like, I'm frustrated with myself for not making the most of this opportunity because I've only got a little bit of time left. But yeah, anyway, so I thought today we'd just do a vlog on what's been going on the past 2 weeks because, partly not being able to be here is just because I've been so busy as well as low energy. And oh my God, I had to actually sit down and write these notes last night based on I've got a diary that I keep for my psychologist to try and remember what I even do. And yeah, once I started writing down notes of what I did each day, I was just like, oh my God, no wonder I'm so tired. That's a lot of stuff. Anyway, so yeah, we'll just go through each. I'm gonna try not to get too bogged down in detail because there's a lot. But if there's any particular thing you want me to elaborate on, maybe leave me a comment and I could possibly revisit it if I feel like there's enough to say. Otherwise, yeah, these are just sort of the cliff notes of the past 2 weeks. So the last day that I filmed was on the 5th of May. Today is the 19th of May, so 2 weeks exactly that I haven't been back here. Okay, so on the 6th of May, that was a Saturday, that's when I went to that gig with my friend and we set up the whole day to try and, encourage me to get out more. The idea was if I had a good day, maybe maybe we could condition me to want to go out more again. So yeah, we set up a lot of different stuff that I should be into. And it's another one of those things that's great in theory, but in practice, didn't go so well. So started off, I went into the city and to the Nando's. I love Nando's. It's one of my favorite things. It's one of the only things I could eat when I was on those antidepressants that destroyed my appetite. It has tomato in it and lettuce, me eating vegetables of my own free will. Holy shit. Anyway, so Nando's is always good, but on this particular occasion, I had to wait behind this couple who I think have never been to Nando's before. So they spent ages ordering, ages asking the lady taking their order about every single dish. And I think it was just the two of them. I didn't see any kids. I didn't see anyone else. They were just consulting with her, asking what's this, should we try this, blah, 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 blah. And in the end they ordered $88 worth of Nando's between two people. For reference, Nando's is kind of like fast food, just one level above McDonald's, so it's not super fancy or anything. And my order is usually $20 and it's a decent meal. As I said, it's one of the few things that I can eat a decent amount of. So yeah, $88 between two people. That's a lot of food. Even my brother Dave, even he can eat a lot. He would not need $44 worth of food for himself. Just madness. Anyway, so that took ages and I was a little bit and then in terms of tables, they have this thing where you're supposed to order at your table now, but the Wi-Fi never works at this particular one, so I'm not going to use my own data just to order something. So yeah, I ordered at the counter and then she's like, what table are you sitting at? And I named a table, but then there was this guy who just kept changing his mind about what table he wanted to sit at, and he sat at the one I had just named after she'd put it through the thing, and I'm like, oh my God. So that caused a little bit of confusion when they're bringing out the food. It's just dude, pick a spot. Anyway, so the food was good. It's just dealing with other customers. It's not usually a problem. It was this time. Yeah, so Nando's, bit annoying. Then I met with my friend at a shoe shop, and this is an alternative shoe shop. There's not many of them left in Sydney, especially with that particular range selection, the types of shoes they have. So you know, like the idea was we'd go and we'd try on a bunch of shoes and maybe make some impulse purchases. But when we got there, they really only had what was on display. Like, they don't have any stock in different sizes. And yeah, none of the like flat, like platforms are fine, but I can't do heels. So none of the flat gothic stuff was in my size to even try on to get an idea of what my size is. You know, I tried on one of the heels, but I'm like, I freaking can't do this. And yeah, most of the shoes were just like, you know, these platform heels that they use in pole dance, like stuff that you wouldn't actually walk around in. Yeah, so like that was kind of disappointing because my friend also wanted to try on a bunch of shoes, but they didn't have anything really that she was into or in her size either. So yeah, a bit of a letdown. What we did find out is you can order things in from their online shop and have it sent to their shop, and then you can try it on in the shop, and if you don't like it or if it doesn't fit or for whatever reason, you can just get a refund on the spot, which is really handy. It means that like if I have some idea of something I want, I can look on their website and choose from a ridiculous range, order it in, and then have that safety of being able to try it on, because that's one of the things I hate about online shopping, particularly with shoes. Like clothes you can deal with, but shoes, if shoes are wrong, your feet hurt, and just existing is terrible. So that's like good, but for where I'm at right now, like I don't have any band and my music project, I haven't really done much with it, so I don't have a need for new shoes. Like, you know, we were going to impulse buy, and you know, by the time, I'm hoping they'll still be open, like they'll still be operating as a business with a physical storefront by the time I actually have a project, hopefully, that, you know, might need something. But yeah, like now I have to plan something if I want to buy. We can't do the whole impulse purchase kind of thing. So that was a bit like, and then we ended up not spending that much time there. So we just went to a random Kmart and Kohl's, and I bought some chocolate for myself and some chocolate for my brother because it was his birthday coming up, and then some chocolate for Mum because it was Mother's Day coming up. And that was fine. Just like, you know, one set of chocolate that I bought at Kmart turned out to be cheaper at Kohl's, which is a little bit annoying, but it's only a couple dollars. Calm down, calm down. And also Kohl's had this, like, they had the Asian section, and it was a really good Asian section for a change. And so they had all the Japanese chocolates in like big bulk packets, and even better, they were on sale. And I'm like, so you know, the whole retail therapy thing, I think sometimes retail therapy is better for me than actual therapy. Just, you know, it's kind of expensive, and you know, it's only a short-term kind of boost, but whatever. Anyway, so yeah, like kind of a mixed bag. It was a bit annoying finding that something was cheaper elsewhere, but then the Japanese chocolate, and that was a pretty good discount. So yeah, mixed feelings. Anyway, the next thing that was actually on the plan was the Chinese restaurant, and we were hunting down this particular dish, and you know, we found it, but when it came out, instead of being like hot, it was just warm. And instead of being crispy, there were a couple bits that were a little bit crispy, but mostly it wasn't so crispy. And so it was kind of a letdown. Like, yes, we finally found this dish, but so that was another disappointment. And then the gig. So I've posted a short. I mean, for me it was last night, but I don't know when I'm actually going to post this video, so I'll put a link somewhere. But yeah, I could rant about this gig a lot. You know, so it basically, you had the paid gig. The gig we paid for was in the main band room, and that was more like hardcore, deathcore, metalcore, whatever. And then they had a separate gig going on in the front bar area, which is more like, you know, grind, death metal, whatever, like that kind of a thing. And so one band would play in the paid, you know, the main room for half an hour, and then when they finished, the other band outside would start for half an hour. And so they were alternating bands, so it was kind of good in a way that you could have a constant set of music going. Like, they run that really well in that sense. Actually coordinating things, wow, a venue doing that. Yeah, so that was good, but yeah, this is where I could rant for ages, so I'm going to be restrained. But in summary, the freaking hardcore dancing really, like, do you have to? I just want to enjoy the gig that I paid for instead of having to spend the whole thing with my elbow out, ready, watching for like some douchebag who's flinging their arms and legs around, without any regard for where they are, like no awareness of how close they are to other people. It's just stupid. And like, I did martial arts, and part of that is like you learn restraint, you learn not to do that. Like, when do you hit someone, when do you not hit someone? And these people just don't have a clue. There's no, I have no respect for that. Yeah, and then particularly like as a small female, it's just terrible being in that situation. Anyway, instead of going on more of a rant, the other thing that kind of got me is like, for the most part, the vocal and mic technique. So if you watched my short that I did about it, the first chick, the chick singer, she was the only chick singer for the night, and she was doing like the low growls. She was really good. I think she's probably using a false chord technique, and she's actually got a good mic technique, instead of cupping the thing. I've seen in other videos that she sort of did a half cup, but on this night, she was holding the microphone properly and it sounded great, and her performance was really good. she was rocking out. She did these like really well-timed kicks in time with the music, and she was like performing. And so that band was really good. I mean, the music, it's okay. It's not hugely my thing, but it got a little bit monotonous, I think, because her growls were all lows. Slight variations here and there, but all lows. And after a while, it kind of sounds samey. And especially because like when we go out to the other bands, the death grind guys, pretty much all lows. Occasionally one guy would go higher, but yeah, no. So it's just like the whole gig is just too many lows. People aren't experimenting enough. Anyway, but so I liked her vocal technique and her mic technique, but a lot of the other guys. So the first band in the free section, that had a guitarist vocalist, and so because he can't use his hands, he's playing his guitar, so he can't cup the mic, so he sounded good. But every other guy who, they were all standalone vocalists. They all grabbed the damn thing with their fat hands. And in one case, one of the guys, you can't even hear his vocals, I think, because like he was doing it possibly with a fry screen, which is less loud than false chord as well. So you combine that and the sound guy is looking at it going, I don't want this to get ridiculous feedback. You could almost not hear him a lot of times during his set. So that's why sometimes learning good mic technique can actually help you sound better. I know there's some vocalists out there who think that they're shaping the sound or whatever, but you can shape the sound with your mouth. You don't need to shape it with your hand. Whatever. Anyway, so the other guys, I think it was only really Justice for the Damned. Like sometimes he would do a more of a shouted vocal. It didn't seem like he could do clean singing, but at least he varied it between clean and grit. So there's a bit more variation, but most of the other guys are just screaming kind of monotonously. And for me, like, I generally don't go for all screaming bands. But if you are going to do all screaming, would help if you learned to do some highs and lows and give us some variation. Anyway, I'm ranting. And then also the front person stereotypes. Remember like 10 years ago, there was that Jared guy who did, every metalcore vocalist ever and every hardcore vocalist ever. And 10 years later, people are still doing that stereotype. Like, oh my God. And especially like the Justice for the Damned guy did a bit of that. And he was like, so the first chick, she was really performing and putting herself into it, putting her body into the whole thing. Like, she's not just standing there singing like some of the other guys were doing. Like, she's fully into the physicality of it. The Justice for the Damned guy at some points just stood at the edge of the stage, just sort of grinning at the audience and like watching the audience. Like, we paid to watch you perform, not to have you watch us dancing or whatever. It was kind of like, okay, whatever. Anyway, I could rant more about all that stuff, but I probably shouldn't, because I've gone for 15 minutes about a single day. So the next day, on Sunday, I just did my cleaning. I don't think anything significant happened there, but I would have been pretty tired because we, came home late, stayed up late. My friend drove me home. But yeah, we stopped by McDonald's on the way home. We got caught on the bridge, actually. There was some kind of like road work going on, so it took a long time to get home. And Yeah, no, so we while we were stuck in traffic, we were talking about food and ended up going to Macca's. Anyway, that was late night. So Sunday, the next day, I would have been pretty tired, but I managed to get my cleaning done, and that's probably all I managed to do that day. The next day, Monday the 8th, I had to see the dentist. So, and you know, fortunately the dentist isn't too far away, but oh goodness, just like leaving the house for anything other than walking my dog is always a bit much. But you know, my teeth are fine. I did mention like I've had a lot of mouth ulcers recently, so I made a short about mouth ulcers as well. That one in the short, that's after I bit myself while I was eating some toast and still sore. I had to put some stuff on it just to talk and make this vlog. You know, no, I just get like random mouth ulcers now and then for no particular reason. And, you know, I've got another one just like on the inside of the lip, but it's tiny. But before that, like I had 3 rounds of a mouth ulcers appearing underneath my tongue on this side. Like underneath my tongue, I can't bite in those spots. Like how did anything get there to irritate that area? And so I mentioned it, and you know, like my diet's fine. I'm not a vegan, so I don't have a vitamin B deficiency, and I make sure like, you know, I check like, you know, do I need vitamins like Barocca or whatever? That's got plenty of B vitamins. Also like Vegemite. Vegemite toast is what I was eating when I bit myself. So, oh, why do you betray me, Vegemite? Anyway, so he said it's probably just stress, and I get stressed a lot. So, oh well, I'm just doomed to a life of mouth ulcers. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I did that day. I think I also went to the chemist after, and oh my god, too much stuff in life. Anyway, Tuesday, Tuesday's when I got vaccinated for flu and COVID, a COVID booster. And so I had the flu shot in my left arm, COVID shot in my right arm. That's the first time I've done 2 at once, at least in my adult life. I know when like you're a kid, they combine a lot of things, but yeah, so, oh my god. And, later that day, this arm was really sore, but then the next day it was more, this arm was sore, and oh gosh. Yeah, I just, it was not too bad, because like after getting COVID shots in the past, you know, I'd feel kind of like off, but now I get both done at once, and so just have one period of feeling, ugh. Whereas my parents did theirs separately, and I'm like, but why? Just get all the needles done at once. You know, if there's no medical reason not to, why not? Anyway, so it saves me an extra trip out of the house because I try not to leave the house too much. Anyway, that day I also got a weird email from someone who reckons they've dated the same person as me, but they actually contacted me like a year ago in February last year. So, you know, not long after I made my first Schizoid video. And, you know, I established after a while, like I basically had to pull teeth to find out anything, because they approach me but then don't give me any details. Like they wouldn't name themselves, they wouldn't name the guy they dated, they just don't name anyone, and I'm supposed to guess like, how do I know this is the same guy? I think I mentioned something about, you know, like my ex who is really manipulative, and they assumed that they dated the same guy. But yeah, after a while, you know, I finally got enough details to be like, it's not the same guy. And I told them that last year. And I also told them I don't appreciate this anonymous stuff. Like they're concerned about their privacy. What about my privacy? They're concerned about screenshots. What about me? Like, you know, and then they want me to like say stuff. I'm not going to spill a bunch of beans to someone. I don't even know who you are. I'm not going to spill all this gossip. So yeah, more than a year later, they come back with like another bunch of stuff. And I was just like, I already told you it's not the same guy. And so, yeah, I just had that email come in. And at the time I was like, I didn't even know what it was because it's been so long. And so I just sat on it for a while. Like I didn't reply straight away. I was just like, what even is this? I'll just leave that for a few days and I'll think about it later. So that's what happened on that day. And, you know, I'd just been vaccinated as well when I saw the email, I think. And so I'm just like, I'm too tired to deal with this shit. So then the next day, Wednesday the 10th, I was just recovering, feeling gross and having the sore arms. So I did basically nothing on Wednesday. And like after having gone out on Saturday, Sunday cleaning, Monday going out to the dentist, Tuesday going out to get vaccinated, like that's too much going out to me. So Wednesday, I got basically nothing done. Thursday, same thing, basically nothing done, but it was Hope's birthday. So I've also got a short about Hope's. I'm just gonna have to put like a bunch of shorts in the comments so you can catch up on those little things if you haven't seen them. But yeah, so I got him a little black fluffy jumper to match my black fluffy jumper, and yeah. Oh, there was that time that we had matching hairdos. But anyway, yeah, that's the first time we've done anything matching in quite a few years. So yeah, Thursday did basically nothing. Friday, so Friday I got basically 2 hours of sleep because I went to bed late, which, you know, like going to bed late isn't such a bad thing. I've noticed I can actually sleep through a lot of the morning noise better, I guess because I'm more tired. Of course, I still wake up heaps tired, but at least I'm not sitting around being awake and stressing, I guess. But anyway, no, I only got 2 hours of sleep because I was woken up at like 4:30 in the morning by a voice going, "Something went wrong, try again in a few seconds." And, you know, I had been properly asleep and I'm just like woke up hearing that voice like, what the fuck just happened? And it was really loud. And I'm like, I don't know what that could even be. And so of course my brain had to start working and I had the adrenaline, the what the fuck adrenaline going on. And after a while I realized it was the fire alarm because, you know, I don't know if this is just an Aussie thing or if this happens everywhere, but the regular fire alarms, they'll just like beep for no reason. Sometimes it's because their battery's getting low. Sometimes it's because, like, you know, it smells something smoky, even if it's not actually in the house. And sometimes it's just the humidity. And we had a lot of La Nina the past few years. So eventually I was just like, fuck this, and convinced the parents to switch them for some smart fire alarms. And they're great because, you know, now I can connect them to my phone, and if they do that beeping thing, I can tell them to shut up. And they also have like a warning mode, so instead of going beeping stupid hours of night, they can just sort of be like, hey, might have detected something, we want to check maybe this room to see what's going on. Yeah, stuff like that. But I think because we had issues with our NBN and the Wi-Fi was probably getting a bit dodgy as a result, I think the fire alarm got a bit confused because it didn't know what it was connected to, and I think that's why it went off with that loud voice. And it happens to be right outside my bedroom door, so of course I'm the one who heard it. And yeah, then I had to log into the app, but because the internet wasn't working, the app was getting confused, so I had to turn on my data, and it's just like, this is too much brain stuff. And so after that, I just didn't sleep, and I think I got up stupidly early, and just, I don't know how I functioned that day. So yeah, that was Friday. I had therapy that day, and when I turned in and told my psychologist what had happened, she was kind of surprised I'd come in at all, and I'm just like, I'm just operating on zombie mode. And so when she asked me, is there anything you want to talk about? I'm like, if you just throw me a topic, I'll probably just start rambling until I forget what I was supposed to be talking about, which is kind of what happens on YouTube. But yeah, so yeah, that was, what did we even talk about? And then, yeah, after that, you know, instead of going straight home, I went to Chatswood to have Nando's again, because Nando's is one of the only good things in my life. And then I went to Pandora to get Mum a Mother's Day gift. So I kind of had to do that because I was cutting it a bit short. Like, yes, I got her the chocolate, but if I just give her chocolate, is she gonna think I'm trying to kill her because she's got diabetes? And, you know, it's like a genetic diabetes. So that's something I've got to watch out for one day. Like, even though I'm staying small and skinny, I could develop this same thing because I think my Japanese grandma also had it. But yeah, anyway, so I was like, because also I'd had some interpersonal stuff, both with Mum and Dad, but like, you know, some of it with Mum had been a bit iffy. She'd been like, I don't want a Mother's Day present. You know, I'd rather have help around the house and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, so I was a bit like, I hope she doesn't take the chocolate the wrong way. But you know, like, she's Japanese. And so, you know, Japan has a very strong gift culture. So when she says she doesn't want a present, actually she does. So, my plan, well, I'll get to, yeah, well, the next day, I'll tell you about how I handled the gift giving, but yeah, I went and got her some stuff from Pandora because she loves Pandora. I'm actually a Pandora Club member just to buy Mum stuff. Although she's sort of getting a bit over it because they keep doing Marvel stuff, and like, Marvel is not the original Pandora demographic. They're trying to make it more youth friendly, and it's just kind of weird because I'm like, my mum doesn't want freaking Marvel and Star Wars kinds of stuff. Like, what the heck? This is supposed to be like fancier than that, but anyway, yeah, so she's getting a bit bored with Pandora, but I still managed to find something nice for her. So let's move on to Saturday. So Saturday, I went to a Chinese restaurant with Dave. Dave, my brother, he doesn't live with us anymore. He picked me up and drove me out and to one of the places that he's found this dish at, that I tried to find with my friend. So it's the crispy shredded Peking beef, some combination of those words anyway. He found a place and they did it really nice. Like, it was properly hot, it was crispy, and it was also at a yum cha place. So we had like all these dumplings, and one of the waitresses didn't really speak much English, and I think she's a bit, it's a bit difficult for her trying to describe like what her yum cha tray had, but she said something about like, Xiao Long Bao, and I'm like, I recognize that, I want that, because, that's what they call it at a different dumpling place. And I'm like, and so when I was like, yes, that, she was like so happy that I'd that I'd recognized anything in Chinese, and so like she was like running happily to the kitchen, like yelling out for them to make some of this this dumpling. Anyway, yeah, no, we ate so much. I was actually shocked how much I was able to eat there, and I think my brother was too. Yeah, so that was a bit better, and like I was able to talk to him about some stuff because he knows the situation that I live in, and he grew up with a lot of the same things as me. Different though, because being a dude, younger, also into sport, yeah, his experience of it was a little bit different, but he sort of understands stuff. So there's some stuff I can talk to him about that other people just don't get. So that was good. And then he dropped me back home. And then in the evening, he came back with his girlfriend, and we had like sort of dinner for like his birthday and sort of pre-Mother's Day. And okay, so the way I handled the chocolate presents, right? So I gave him his chocolate present, but I brought it out with Mum's and had it actually in the Pet Circle box. And when I brought it out, I said, look, Mum, you said you don't want a Mother's Day present, so if you don't like this, Dave can have it. And that got everyone's curiosity, because they're like, what would you buy Mum that you could also give to Dave? And so as I pull out all this chocolate, all of a sudden Mum sees it's like Japanese, like the Japanese chocolate that she likes, and so she's like grabbing all this chocolate, like, no way, you can't have that, that's mine. And also I got her one that was like these donuts, and it was like a Mother's Day pack, and these chocolate donut things, and on the thing it said, I do not know what I would do without you, because I can't resist the pun. And yeah, so everyone was entertained by that. So then Mum's left thinking that her Mother's Day present is chocolate. But of course I got her Pandora. So then the next day, Sunday, I left the Pandora thing on the kitchen bench with the little card. I didn't write anything on the card this year because I was still feeling a little bit iffy about some of the interpersonal stuff, and like I can't write something that's a lie or that I'm not feeling at the time. So I just left it blank, and it just had the standard like happy Mother's Day thing that I got from Pandora. Like I got a card, they gave me a card to actually put with it for her. And so I think I put it at midnight, so that, because, she would have gone to bed. So when she gets up, she comes out, she sees this thing. And, I was a little bit nervous that maybe she'd be mad at me for spending the money on something extra. But she actually really liked it. And I think I got the impression when she talked to me and when she was talking to Dad that she didn't know for sure that it was from me, which is part of my plan as well. Because I thought, yes, I'm obviously the person who put it on the bench. But if she asks me and if I haven't written anything, I could pretend my brother's in on it, or, it's maybe not from me, leave a bit of mystery. But yeah, no, she was really happy with it. So Pandora makes these little keychain bag tag things, and I got like their 2023 shell clam charm thing. Yeah, she's really into that kind of stuff. Like I personally don't understand jewelry so much. Like I've got like this stuff, but it's cheap. Like it's, just cheap shit. Or actually the Egyptian one's not cheap, but like if someone gives me jewelry, I'd be a bit like, great, one more thing to look after. I have a bunch of like cheap jewelry and I just don't do much with it. That was when I was younger and I was collecting like dragon necklaces and whatever. Anyway, yeah, so I was actually genuinely surprised how happy she was with it. So that went really well. And, she said she had been happy with just the chocolate, but now she's like, and, it went some way to sort of smoothing out some of the interpersonal stuff, I think. you know, because especially with the whole schizoid thing, like when I'm having a really bad day, schizoid and depression, when I'm having a really bad day, those two things can make me really like closed off and grumpy looking. And I think Japanese people are more sensitive to those non-verbal signals, and I don't know if she takes it personally when I'm like that or what. It's just like I'm just completely shut off, and it's really hard for me to smile or, you know, give any kind of normal social signal. Like I know I can present pretty well, but I have bad days, and I think that, you know, frustrates mum, especially she doesn't understand mental health. So yeah, I think that helped because it kind of shows that I'm still thinking of her even when I'm having that kind of, you know, and like maybe I can't help around the house so much, but like this is one thing I can do, is I can pay attention to the things that she likes and get her a nice gift. And yeah, gift culture is part of the whole Japanese thing. So yeah, I'm actually been thinking at some point I might do a video about like my gift giving philosophy and strategies, because I've kind of come to see myself as like the gift ninja. I am the best at buying gifts in my family. I've just gotten really good at it because I kind of see it as a hunt. And when you see it as a hunt, suddenly it's like a bit more interesting. But I can make a separate video about that if people are interested. Especially, I guess, if you're a schizoid and you're sort of like, how can I connect with people without connecting emotionally? I don't know. Like that's one of the things about gift giving, is it's a way to like sort of make people feel better about you, even though, you know, you can't do all the normal interpersonal stuff. Anyway, then the rest of the day cleaning. And yeah, I think I did a little bit of extra cleaning just to Mother's Day, that kind of stuff. Oh, so that was that. And then so that's, oh my God, we've already gone through a whole week of stuff. And then on the Monday, you know, there I am thinking I'm going to have a nice relaxing day, but I got another text message from another job, well, from the same job agency, the first job agency that contacted me after Centrelink screwed up. I had already sent them an email because I couldn't get through on the phone. I had already sent them an email saying, hey, my medical certificate has been approved. And also I already told you guys not to schedule interview, like it was like a phone interview or something, like not to schedule basically any appointments at 9 in the morning. I don't function at 9 in the morning. Like I already sent them this email. And then here they are giving me another reminder about, you know, a phone call that I don't have to take. It's just, you know, and I get it's probably like some system problem, but like, can you fix your fucking system? So I had to like send them another email going, hey, I already told you my medical certificate has been approved. I'm not required to do this. I'm not going to do it by choice. I refuse to come in. I'm not required to. And can you register a complaint? Because, you know, I also said the don't do the 9 a.m. thing, and here you are again. Yeah, so I had to send that email again and then sit around with the anxiety for a while, because it's just like, because you never know for sure if they're going to like accept what you're saying or whether they're going to cause more problems for you. And I'm like, it's been 6 weeks maybe, or like, you know, a month and a half since I got put in that medical certificate, and I'm still getting bullshit because Centrelink didn't process it on time. And it's just like, I did not need the anxiety that day. I think I didn't do so well that day. I've made a note here that I was really low energy that day, and I think I probably had plans, like maybe I was planning to come here earlier that day, but when I got that text message, it just threw everything off, and I had to go into anxiety mode and just be like, gotta solve this problem, gotta hope that it's all fixed. Yeah, so that sucked. The only other thing that happened that was interesting that day is I had to rescue my queen ant. So those of you who've like been watching, like following the little details, you probably some of you will have missed this, is I had like this little ant farm and I caught a queen ant, except I don't think she's been fertilized, so it's just her. And I tried to let her go at some point, but she wouldn't leave. And so now I feel bad because if I evict her, she's going to die. So I thought, well, I'll just keep looking after her until I find a new queen, which probably won't be until summer anyway. So she's got the rest of the year pretty much to, you know, stay in that space, and I just have to feed her a little bit of water now and then. She's very low maintenance. But yeah, so the night before I had sprinkled in a little bit of sugar just to see what would happen. And then yeah, so on Monday morning I came in and she was on her back, and I thought I had killed her with sugar. But then I saw her like wiggling, and I thought, oh, maybe she's okay. So I tried to like dislodge her from a position with a bit of extra water. That didn't work. And so I thought, oh shit, she's gonna die. Later that day, when my brain was finally working after the panic over Centrelink, I got a toothpick and I was able to angle it. Like, it's a really awkward ant farm with all these twisty plastic ladders and so on, but I was able to angle a toothpick in at just the right angle to be able to get her to bite the end and hold on to it, and then lifted her up so that she could grab the next platform and right herself. And I saved her life and she's fine now. And so, yeah, I thought I had killed her, but actually I rescued her and she's still going. But yeah, like I said, I think she's not been fertilized, so no eggs. There was something that looked like it might be an egg, but either she ate it out of stress or it wasn't that. Yeah, I did try and put her in a dark space for a while, but all that seemed to do was allow some mold to grow, so I put her back in a light spot. And yeah, she seems fine. Now I can watch her and monitor her if she gets into more trouble. Okay, and then, so on the Tuesday, the 16th of May, yeah, that day, I think because the week before was so damn busy and just like too much going on, this whole week, this is Tuesday, a few days ago, this whole week I've really struggled. And so on that Tuesday, I just couldn't focus all day. I think I had ideas of things I wanted to do. I just couldn't get anything done. So I ended up replying to that email I got the week before, the one that was saying that they dated the same guy as me. And by this point, I'd had enough time to think about it, and I also talked to my psychologist about it. My psychologist's first response was like, are you sure it's not your ex pretending to be someone else? And I don't think it is. I think it's someone who is legit, but they won't tell me any details. And then now in this new one, like it turns out they've been like trying to dig around in my history or something. And I'm like, you're asking for privacy, but you're digging through my shit? Like, yes, I'm on YouTube and a lot of my stuff is public, but like, you know, she's trying to talk to people. Well, I don't even know if it's a she, to be honest. Because, you know, like, I have no idea. They won't say their name. I have no idea. So, this person, they've been like, you know, it's one thing to watch my YouTube videos, but it's another thing to try and ask people who know me stuff. And they're saying that, oh, you know, a mutual friend said this. And I'm like, so, you know, I just put my foot down. Like, you know, I finally had a chance to go through the past emails throughout the week and sort of work out what the heck this message even was. And I saw the part where I've already said, hey, this isn't cool. And then they've come back and have not addressed any of the issues that I've previously told them. So I'm just like, look, you got to refer to my previous email about why I don't want to talk about this. And then, you know, added some things about, you know, like they want me to respect their privacy, but they're clearly not willing to respect mine. They're clearly happy to go around talking to other people about me. So, like, why should I give a stranger any gossip? Are you kidding? And it's not even the same guy. And I'm not your psychologist. Like, I get it, you've had a hard time, but don't come to me about it. Talk to your psychologist about it. That's what I do. I also talk to YouTube, but like, it's people's choice whether they get up to the 38 minutes that I've now been talking to. If you don't want to watch my videos for 38 minutes that we're already up to, you don't have to. You could have tuned out by now. So that's a bit different to like trying to come and make me write a bunch of stuff. The other thing is like previously, I didn't write it this time, but previously I said like, it's not fair for you to come and ask me to write all this stuff when, you know, I've had other viewers who wanted to have one-on-one correspondence with me and it just got a bit too much for me. And like, I can't say no to them and then say yes to you. I don't even know who you are. It's just not fair on you guys if some of you wanted to, you know, have more of that kind of correspondence. And so, you know, I did start off writing a bigger reply, but it was giving too much away. So I just made it really short for me. I made it short and to the point and basically like, I can't help you with this. And I don't think the way you're going about it is right. And I have no reason to trust you. So that's what I ended up doing. And I think that helped me later in that day to just sort of, I don't know, help me focus on something because I couldn't focus at all that day. But yeah, the next day I had a headache, but my mood was okay. But I also got a dumb comment on one of my YouTube videos. And, you know, having just spent time trying to work out what to write to that person the day before, the one talking about boyfriends, You know, I was already tired of having to write fruitless text to people who don't deserve it. And so then I get this dumb comment come through on YouTube, and I spent a lot of time just sort of looking at it because it was so bad. I was like, I don't even know where to begin. Like, it's clearly you didn't even watch the video or didn't absorb what I was saying and missed a lot of details. And it's just like, there's so much wrong. I can't even begin to reply to this. Like, the reply would be so long, like when I've already addressed most of the issues. And this is a person who I can see, like, I tried searching my comments in the YouTube studio for this person, and the only thing that came up was a gap. And the only reason it picked up that there even was a comment there is because I'd replied and it had the @ and then their name. And so they're deleting their own comments. And so if they delete this one after I put in so much effort, there goes all my effort, right? Except for like any screenshots I take. And so I'm just like, it's not worth replying to this person. But, you know, I did spend a lot of time just sitting there like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I think because I was already tired and headachy, my brain just couldn't process how bad the comment was. And so, you know, I've been rethinking my comment policy, but I'll talk about that some other time, or maybe later today if I've got time to film it. Anyway, it was just like, I don't think I can keep doing the whole reply to every comment as much as possible kind of thing, because I'm just like, my mental health is not as good as it was, you know, a year ago. That's the other thing about these emails. The email that I got about the boyfriend thing is like, I had tried to be understanding then, but you know, my mental health, I don't have the patience anymore to hold people's hand and to be like a responsible, like, yes, I talk about mental health, but you know, it's this extra effort to be a responsible mental health YouTuber. And I'm not giving people advice. I'm just talking about myself. That's not the role that I want to take. I don't want to be other people's psychologist. I've got enough going on as it is. And so, yeah, having to think for other people, I'm just like, I can't do it. But yeah, otherwise that day, my mood was okay that day, and I'll do a video about something else. Do a video about more positive things later. I'm just going to complain in this one, I think. So anyway, that was Wednesday. And then yesterday, oh my God, yesterday, the 18th. I had planned to come here yesterday and do some filming, but it became pretty clear that I was just not going to get that done. And so this is the thing about my functioning is I don't know when I'm going to have really bad days. Like the week before this week, last week, I managed to get a lot of things done. I mean, most of it was stuff I had to do, like the dentist, getting vaccinated, and, you know, family obligations. Most of it was stuff I had to do, or therapy as well. But I managed to get it done, but then, you know, this week I've been so slow and low energy, like I have to recover from last week. And I seem to be doing a little bit better, so I thought by Thursday, yeah, I should be able to film more videos. But then I woke up, I went to bed earlier than normal on Wednesday night. But then, you know, Mikey woke me up a bit early, but then I was able to get back to bed okay. But I slept in longer than usual, so that was a bit odd. And when I did wake up, I realized I was feeling just really down and, yeah, still no energy. Even though I went to bed earlier, I had even less energy than when I go to bed at 3 a.m. And I don't really know what set it off. Like, had I been thinking about something, or I just woke up feeling down? I think, you know, that's sort of why my previous psychiatrist said I had melancholic depression, because I'm just a lot worse functioning in the morning. It takes a while for my brain to start up, and it takes a while for my mood to get better enough to like function for the day. I can do some things that I have to do, like therapy is a bit earlier in the day. Therapy is at 12, so I have to get up early enough to get on the bus to get to therapy. Oh, that's always a little bit tricky. But I manage it and I push through. As long as I don't have to do it every day, I can do one-offs. But yeah, no, so I had one of those days where I woke up and I just was not functioning. And the longer I stayed up, the more I realized I was getting into a suicidal spiral. Like when I took my dog for a walks, people say walks, like exercise is supposed to be good for your mood, but I was still in this, I was like a zombie, and I was feeling really down. And I thought to myself, look, it's just a temporary feeling, it'll pass. And I think when I was trying to convince myself of that is when the suicidal spiral started up in my head, and I was just like, oh my God. So I actually had a depression nap, and it was like a safety nap, because if I didn't just go to bed and try and reset my brain with sleep, I think the thoughts were going to get worse and worse. So I went to bed. I think I did manage to actually sleep. It was a decent long nap too. I was in bed for almost 2 hours. I think for the last half hour I had my light on and I was sort of half awake. But yeah, I was in bed for almost 2 hours, just completely unable to function. I think I did sleep because I remember my brain thinking about random stuff instead of like how depressed I was. It was just like processing random things. And yeah, when I finally got up, I still felt down, but once I stood up and started going, and then I found in the kitchen, Dad got these tortilla strip chip things, and they're just super addictive. It's really hard to stop eating them. And then he had some salsa, and it was like mildly spicy. Like I'd had these the day before, I think, but someone had brought the chips out and left them on the kitchen table. And my brain's like, I'm gonna eat those. So I got the salsa out of the fridge, but yeah, with mildly spicy, and I don't like spicy, and I've got mouth ulcers still. I just started eating it anyway, and then even though it was a bit spicy, I just couldn't stop for ages until like Dad joined in and it got a bit crowded. But yeah, so once I'd been up for a bit eating those tortilla strips, is that how you pronounce it? Because it's spelled tortilla, but I'm pretty sure it's pronounced tortilla. This is the problem with not being someone who speaks a lot. Anyway, yeah, after eating them for a while, my mood started to pick up and I was able to talk to my parents properly. Like earlier in the day, my dad had tried to say something to me and I was sort of only able to grunt. And then Mum was telling me about her day and she was kind of excited. And I knew socially I should smile, and I tried to, but I couldn't really get much. And, her picking up on my signals, I could tell she was a bit like, oh shit, it's one of those days. Yeah, but then after the nap, after getting up, eating these chips, finally I was able to do the whole smile at appropriate moments and, seem animated and join conversations. I was finally able to do that again. It's just like, brain, what the fuck was that about? Like I actually had to sleep and hit the reset button on my brain. And sometimes that's the only thing that works, is just going back to bed. Otherwise I can't function. And there's no way to predict when things like that are going to happen. Like it's not like the day before I had actually been kind of positive in my thoughts, like not feeling good, but I was having more positive thoughts. And then the next day I wake up and everything's trash again. So yeah, and it's unpredictable and it's debilitating. And yesterday I just, it's confusing. And, it's a bit different to the problem that stops me working. The problem that stops me working is more the energy levels, but this was the full-on depression that just came out of nowhere. I don't know if I've been suppressing a depressed feeling and it just happened to come out, reach a threshold and come out on this day, or my dad thought maybe I'd eaten something weird, or I have no idea what caused it. Maybe the freaking weather, who knows, because it has been a lot colder lately. I have no idea what set it off, but yesterday was really, really difficult. But yeah, once I did recover, it was a bit late in the day, so I couldn't get anything done, but I thought, I'm going to make Friday not suck. So today is Friday the 19th. I got up early by accident. I just happened to wake up and be able to drag myself out of bed half an hour before my alarm went off. I set the alarm because I was like, I cannot sleep past 11. If I sleep past 11 today, I'll get nothing done. So I got up at 10:30, which is pretty good for me these days. And then, after a while, had a small breakfast, got dressed, took my dog for a walk, and then just I was doing some singing practice and my voice was doing really well. It was really strange because I don't practice enough anymore, but I was able to do chest voice highs really well without warming up. I was able to do operatic Nightwish kind of stuff pretty well. I don't really sing, I'm not trained in operatic stuff, but I was able to get my version of as good as I ever get in that style. And I was doing the false chord fine. I was doing fry scream as good as I could ever get. And I was also doing this other distortion. By now I'll probably have posted that short as well for you to watch. Some sort of in-between distortion. I don't even know what it was. And I was doing a bunch of singing songs earlier today and it was just going really well. And I'm like, what the heck? So the day before I was super depressed and suicidal, and then today suddenly I'm able to do all this music singing stuff. It's just I don't understand. Why is it so different day to day? What's different? So yeah, I spent a bit of time doing that, and then after a while I finally got off my butt and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the filming today, but first I'm gonna go and get myself something to eat. So I went out and got some lunch, and then I came here, and now I'm making this video, and it's almost 15 minutes, so we've done a good job of that, and that's basically what the last 2 weeks have been about. A fair bit of complaining in there, but next time I'm gonna give you a more positive thought. This is maybe where my brain is starting to go into pipe dream mode. But yeah, I think if I had, like, you know, my previous psychiatrist wondered if I had bipolar. I think if I had bipolar, I would have already done crazy things with these ideas, whereas I think a bit more cautiously, but I will talk about that next time, and I think that's enough for this vlog. So the past 2 weeks, super busy, and like energy levels really strained. And then yesterday, I think I just crashed. I mean, maybe it was just the whole build-up of the past 2 weeks got too much and my brain just noped. It's really hard to just function some days, and you know, when I make these YouTube videos, you get a biased sample. Like, I don't make YouTube videos if I'm not well enough. Editing me here, speaking of a biased sample, the day after filming this vlog, I was completely useless. I had headaches, head squeeze, nausea, fatigue, and I spent like a day and a half in bed. It's possible I was actually getting sick, but I got over it just by resting and keeping warm, and I didn't have any symptoms like a cough or a sore throat. I tried to film a clip for you of what it's like when I'm useless, but it kind of got interrupted, and I was too tired to try again, and it was just not, not good enough to put in this video. So I'll put that attempt on Patreon. The link will be somewhere below. Anyway, back to the rambling. I've even slowed down on making shorts. Like, I'm sure some of you guys noticed I was making a lot of shorts for a while and then all of a sudden just slowed down. I've been doing better playing Stardew Valley live streams, but usually that's late at night, and by the time late at night, my brain tends to wake up later in the day. So yeah, by the time I do those streams, my brain is a bit more functional, although I've still had to rely on viewers in the chat to remind me of stuff because I've made some stupid mistakes, and then I've also forgotten things, and people are like, remember this? And I'm like, okay, thanks. I wouldn't have. So, you know, it's a really chill game, but I'm still struggling in some ways because my brain is just not cooperating. But yeah, so I know it seems like I'm doing okay in some of these video blogs, but yeah, it's a biased sample, and yeah, other days it's just a real struggle. And I also forgot how time consuming it is to make these longer videos. It's one thing filming them, but then I have to process them because they're too big to upload on my slow, shitty internet. I have to make them smaller in software, and I might as well edit it at the same time, which means I have to watch the thing. And yeah, wow, it's a bit full on. But anyway, so I'm gonna stop. I told myself I would stop. See you next time.